do it like the second.
Put your hand down.
I don't know what to do with these things. Is this what we do? Okay.
Only my hands can go up. Stop it. Mine.
Okay, you keep it going.
This is what you do with your hands, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You keep yours like that. Actually, it would be better for our live video if you kept them up here.
The whole time?
The whole time. Yeah, keep them right there.
Oh, man. My arms.
Hello, whoever has joined us.
What's up, Sergio? Eh?
Of course we can't hear him.
I know. I
That'd be
wish we
great if
could. How's your day going, Serge?
Stay on this channel there, buddy.
Yeah, you
Don't
stay.
you dare leave.
Stay now.
We're expecting thousands and thousands of viewers. They've been waiting for the premiere of this show.
Waiting.
With anticipation.
I'm so
about
excited.
A show they didn't even know existed until last week, or that we didn't even know that was going to exist until last week.
But we're really excited now.
Hey, Natalie.
Hi, Natalie. We're really excited now to have a show.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I think it's going to be good for us. I always dreamt of being on like Ellen DeGeneres or something, like having a show like that. And this is just like, here we go. I get to sip.
I'd be doing this.
I get to sip my coffee and be weird. I feel like that's a plus. Stop sipping your coffee.
He says he's working in the office, watching The Office, and just put whatever this is on.
It's basically The Office.
It's perfect. Hey, 10:30 every week.
Every Friday, 10:30, we're going to be here.
Right here. We have a special guest back there crushing some weights.
Yeah.
Because this is still a functioning gym.
Cool.
So, all right. So,
What's
you want to start?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's start.
What's up, Kyle? Y'all need to get to work.
This is work,
This
Sergio.
is part of the job, buddy. This is part of the job.
There's a purpose for this, Serge.
All right. So, guys, welcome to our first episode of Freestyle Friday, where we're going to talk about health,
Just kidding.
nutrition, mindset, fitness, and I am one of your hosts. I am Kadima.
And I am Casey.
And we're going to host this every single Friday. So at 10:30 sharp Central Standard Time for all of our European followers and all of our Asian followers in Australia, 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time is that time. So just make sure you get that right. I know
Thousands.
There's thousands upon thousands of people.
Don't want to mix anybody up.
So
yeah.
Today, though, we're going to be talking about consistency. We're going to be talking about consistency in your fitness, trying to get in, and what really does that mean and what that looks like if you have a really chaotic life, you got lots of kids, or maybe you're really, really involved in your career and you've put your career ahead of your fitness, and kind of how to establish getting started and then staying consistent and what that really means to do that. So that's kind of what we're going to jam on today. What would you say your initial thoughts are? Like, maybe talk about kind of your initial journey. Hey, Sarah.
Yeah, so I think consistency from like a mental standpoint, like, there's a lot of steps. There's a lot of levels to consistency. And I think that it's easy to take some little things. I mean, my journey with consistency is a constant struggle, or a constant journey. I mean, it's not like I just decide to do something and then you go and do it forever. It's a practice, just like everything, just like being positive or having a good, mental outlook on things, or, eating clean, or whatever you're doing. It's not like you start consistency and you just are hitting home runs. Life would be absolutely no fun if that were the case. So I think for me, it's been about learning like how to make something in my week. And then if I slip and fall, to get back up and keep going and not just completely crumble and give up on myself.
So I got a question for you. Okay.
Shoot.
So I want you to kind of talk about what consistency looked like when we started this business, right? And then what does consistency look like in your schedule now with what we have going on? Just in the last 4 years, well, since we're coming up on 4 years, talk a little bit
Do you mean
about,
from my fitness standpoint?
yeah, just from your fitness standpoint.
Okay, so well, it's been kind of a roller coaster because there's been so many things going on that it hasn't been super consistent with my life. So like work, like you end up working an extremely long time, or your focus gets shifted elsewhere. And so I don't know. Well, obviously, when we were getting the building ready, I wasn't working out at all, so that was not good. I mean, you're like, oh yeah, I'm moving and shoveling floors, so I'm working out. And whenever we actually did a workout, I was like, I was not working out. So I think though, with the ebbs and flows of life and kid and work and extracurricular activities, like whatever you've got to do to take your kids, or go to the grocery store, laundry, all the things, right? It's really just been about like getting back on track. So now it's simple because I took so
Hey,
much of the
Giacomo.
I
What's up,
took
Brett?
I took so much of the
Jimbo.
pressure off of myself to be like some super trainer all the time. And now I just go to class, and it's a lot easier to just show up to class and have somebody else lead me through it, because all I got to do is show up, and then I literally don't have to do anything except whatever the coach tells me.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I agree with you on how it changes over time. And one of the things was when we first started, it was just us. So you gotta, we were doing all the personal training, all the initial consultations with new clients, all of the classes, morning and evening, and we alternated schedules. So what that left for was a lot of tired mornings and a lot of late nights. And so the consistency was very few and far between. It was maybe 2 times a week, but at least it was 2 times a week. Hey, Amy. But so at least we had that going for us. But and then sometimes it was just where we just ignored it. Like, it was like I didn't do anything, or I let my fitness more so go because I didn't have the time and I wasn't making the time to do that. And instead of utilizing maybe just 10 minutes to do something, and then now, even though we're busier, I found myself being more consistent, just made it more of a priority, and if rethought about what consistency is, and hopefully that we can kind of display that with you guys today, is kind of how we look at consistency differently than we did before. So what I think first thing that I would say is you got to start little, and little really looks like maybe it's a phone conversation while you're walking for 10 minutes. I mean, really, really little. Something that you can commit to, like, man, I didn't get anything else done today, but I did get my 10-minute walk, right? That's a great start. And doing that a couple times a week, maybe it's just a
James.
Maybe it's just a once or twice a week, but that's consistency somewhere. Right. So even if it starts out 2 times a week, starting really, really little and then building up to something a little bit bigger over time is a great way to start, especially if you're overwhelmed in your own schedule.
Sure.
Just doing something is a commitment to making consistency an everyday part of your life.
Yeah. I think also, like, not to beat yourself up. I know that a lot of us we're our own worst critics. We're really hard on ourselves, but I think that it's part of the journey. And if you can accept that failure is a piece, it's easier to jump back on and not completely give up on yourselves. Kadima uses a really good analogy that probably, but I'll let you tell the story because it's, okay, I love it. I'll hear it again.
One of the things that I like to tell a client is, all right, and I try to get them down this road like I'm telling a story. Okay, so imagine you're driving your car down the highway, and you can tell that this tire is going flat. So you pull off on the side of the road, and you look at the tire, and you're frustrated. You're ticked off, okay? And I think in a normal situation, every single time what you would do is you go, okay, well, I'll just change that. I'll grab the spare, put that on, and we'll go down the road. Well, in terms of our own lives, what we do is we look at that tire and that tire represents us eating a donut because we didn't want to eat, or eating a bad meal, or
maybe having a bad day,
Yeah.
maybe missing a week of workout, or
yes,
2
something.
weeks.
Yeah, something that's got us off schedule from our consistency, or you've eaten really, really awesome and perfect all these days in a row, and all of a sudden you cracked and you ate 12 donuts. I don't know, something, right? And once you ate that donut, you felt like for the rest of the day, you just didn't care because you messed up, right? And so you start eating everything. I already messed up this day, so I might as well just keep doing that thing. That's the equivalent of just slicing all 4 tires. You get out of your car, you see one tire's done, and you go, well, I'm just going to get rid of the hell of the rest of these. These are stupid. So don't do that.
Don't slash your tires.
Just put the other one on and go down the road, right? It has to be done in this way. I think it's the only way long term that you're going to have success, and the success that you want to have is through that process. And we found through that consistency, you get discipline, and then through discipline, you end up being really, really happy, because of that.
I think that I'm going to just add on to that, because the discipline aspect of your journey it continues to grow. It's like this never ending ride that you get to take, where you can always get a little bit better and a little bit more and a little bit better, and it never ends. It's growth and it's development. And I guess I never really realized how much I liked that, and because I got so caught up in failures personally. And so over time, as I started to see, I don't have to slash my tires, I can just put this spare on and keep going and get a little better and a little stronger. And then it becomes a little bit more of my lifestyle. And accepting that was the process, it really gave me personal fulfillment. And I've seen it happen with hundreds of people as well. So,
yeah, I think what's really interesting about that is even now, and I would probably say, even as busy as we are, this is probably the most. I already messed up the day. I might as well keep going. Pretty well sums up my first 30 years of life. I get it, man. I get it.
We're with you.
I think that even now, and I would say that I'm working out 5 to 6 days a week, pretty consistent. I'm getting in good sessions, and some days are more difficult than others, or maybe I missed the window where I was going to work out, and now I have to do it at the very end of the day or something like that. And so we're working hard, and I still have an all-terrain tire that hugs me every day, like an off-road hug. Also, what's wrong with donuts?
Nothing is wrong with donuts.
Nothing is wrong with them.
Have you ever met me? I love donuts.
So, but even now, I still have to kind of make sure that I keep myself in check, with what I've established as my level of consistency. Not every day needs to be the best workout that I've ever had. Just doing something that's moving and getting some activity in for that day keeps me where I want to be. And there'll be some weeks that you're going to nail it and everything's going to be perfect. And then there's going to be some weeks where you nail it, but you don't maybe nail it to the expectation that you did. You're still being consistent. So got to change the way that, what's up, Brandon? You got to change the way that we look at consistency, because that is going to be a foundation for how we move, how we end up attaining the goals that we actually want to attain is through that process.
Yeah. So I think a good starting place that we always recommend from a fitness perspective is commit to doing something 3 times a week, 3 to 4 times a week. Just try to make that your first step and your first commitment. And don't worry if you derail. That is a part of your process. That's the only way there is to grow. I forget the quote, but it's like you have to fail to succeed. And I was like, man, that's stupid, but it's not. It's actually the truth. So I think that's your starting place.
I'd ask you guys a question and love for you guys to comment, but what holds you back from doing some sort of training consistently? And I'll wait and see if you guys have some response if you're still watching this. Hopefully. It looks like there's 9 people.
I'll answer mine.
Okay.
Mine is just life. And I think that time management. Like anybody that's got families and kids understands that, like, most of the time you're going to choose your kid over your workout most of the time. most of the time, if you're feeling generous that day. Yeah, you're gonna, I mean, it's hard when stuff comes up. Whenever a kid gets sick, you got to go pick them up from school, or an emergency happens. It's like you set yourself aside and go, all right, well, just skip today. And I think that, like, for me, I finally started working out in the morning, and I say morning, like mid-morning. And that's the way that I know that I'm going to get it in. Like, that's the for sure way that I know that I'm going to work out and be able to be consistent. If I wait until the afternoon, something might pop up and I might not be able to work out. So that's how I've been coping with it most recently with the workload and schedule changes. I've been really consistent about saying I put it on my calendar. Like, it's blocked out on my time that I'm going to work out this time, this day. And then all I got to do when I get here is show up, and it's nice. It's nice being in class and yeah.
What if someone's
feeling like I'm not getting any better, so why bother?
Miguel, I agree 100%. There was a guy crushing it in the back of the gym today. He was killing it.
I like this comment though, because this is truth. Feeling like I'm getting better, but feeling like I'm not getting better, so why bother? And I think that's also like where you feel like you plateau and you feel like whatever, like it's not improving. I've been there a bunch of times. But you know what? If I completely stop, I definitely feel worse. So while you may not feel the gains like whenever you started, I think that the consistency over time keeps you healthy over time and keeps you going longer. Do you want to add on to that?
Yeah, I would say that the feeling like I'm not getting better, so why bother, is multi-layered, because you can be consistent in working out and showing up and doing those things, and maybe you're not getting the exact results that you want to see. So we have to consider some other factors that are outside of the consistency of your workouts, because that would tell me that if you're doing the work in the gym, it means that there is another variable of consistency that we're missing, right? Mm-hmm. And we're going to chime in and really talk about these things more in some future episodes.
Yeah.
Is that what they're called?
Shows?
Okay. Future shows on looking at it from a nutritional standpoint and looking at it because you're doing the one thing the hour a day, maybe in an hour and a half, right? Because you're doing extra mobility after class. We have to start looking at what nutrition, the other 23 hours of the day. Are we getting enough sleep? Are we doing enough consistency and self-care? Recovery. Agreed. Yeah. But we have to look at the other areas. Where are the other areas that we can make an impact to make our fitness, if that's the goal, right? If that's the true goal, to make that better. And so that hopefully that kind of helps that scenario there, because it does begin to get tougher when we look at that. But kind of a couple things for us that we kind of do to, the first thing that I would recommend for anybody, establish a base level of consistency. I mean, and that's what she said, start with something three to four times a week that you can do consistently. You know, sometimes it is, you go into the gym and you just do 10 minutes, 12, 15 minutes of activity and then leave. And I'm talking about if you've never done anything consistent before, just stepping into the gym is a huge deal. One of our coaches, who's actually helping us down here right now, one of her tricks is she knows she doesn't want to work out. She puts her workout clothes on before she goes to bed. True story.
I love it.
And so she gets up, she's like, oh, I already got my workout clothes on. I might as well go do it, right? So how do I... I'm going to answer that in just 1 second. James Taylor, I'll answer that question in 1 second. But one of the things that I use is I I just get on something and I say, I'm going to see how far it takes me. So I get on a rower or I get on a bike. Speaking of this gym, but maybe that's a treadmill if you're at a conventional gym. I just get on the bike and I just say, let's just see how far this takes me. And I just get my body moving, right? I just start the process of moving and getting into motion because I already know I have a plan for the day, but I'm just having a really, really hard time getting going. And then that usually makes me go, okay, I'm starting to feel better. The body's moving. And then I move to something else. So if maybe you're at home and you're like, I don't want to go to a gym. I'm embarrassed. I don't know what I'm doing. One, find a gym. To you, there's an option. Find a gym where there's people that are going to instruct you and take care of you every step of the way. Or start by just walking outside. Make it look like you're just having a phone conversation, okay? If you don't want anybody to know you're exercising, start with that. Start with a small walk, but make it a base level of consistency that you can do.
I think also if you have a gym membership and you're not using it, like at a whatever gym, and you are like, have this fear of like that you can't do it and you can't work out, I would say consistently walk in the door, go put your stuff in a cubby. If you don't feel like doing anything, grab your things and walk back out. Get used to going to your gym. Get used to showing up wherever you work out. Even if fear is what is the problem, you can overcome that fear step by step, little by little, and not have to just completely rip the Band-Aid off. I think that's something that we take pride in, is really stair-stepping people into fitness, into working out. I would be scared too. Like even to just feel your heart rate go up for the first time, you basically think you're dying. You're like, oh my gosh, what's happening? So it's all getting used to it and getting used to that and accustomed to exercise again.
Yeah, sometimes we can take that for granted, but we had a brand new person start today. She did her first session in our Jumpstart program, and
a lot of people, Sergio.
And she started with Casey this morning, and one of the things that she mentions was that she was really, really, really scared. And so she's already had an initial meeting. They've discussed 2 to 3 times before this. And so she was finally brave enough. She comes in, does her first session. She leaves and she's like, I could really do this.
She was like, I felt great. She's like, I can do this. And I'm like, yeah, you can, girl.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
You've got this.
Yeah.
So that's really cool.
So it can be really, really overwhelming, but I think having a plan, a base level plan where you just start doing something, right? Again, hide it on the phone. Whatever you need to do to start moving is a great start. And try to pre-plan that. Casey's thing was it has to be in the morning. She knows that if there's any other time that she tries to do it, it's probably not going to happen. So that's first step into starting that.
And it has to be on my calendar.
Yes.
If you live by your calendar and you're not putting your workouts in there or your free time or your quiet time, like I don't know how anything is getting done, because it literally, if it's not on my calendar, I'm not doing it. So if you're like that, then calendar up.
Yeah. And once you do get going and you have that you're consistent enough to kind of do some things, you can start varying what you're doing, right? And for us, that's easy because our classes vary every day, right? We have a warm up every day, but the movements that you're going to do in that warm up are going to be different. We may have a skill movement or something that we're trying to get better at, or maybe some type of strength training. And then of course, some type of conditioning or cardiovascular effort, and then a cool down as well. And that's the classes every day. So you don't have to think, come in, we'll think for you. We'll even have your equipment ready for you when you get here. Do you have anything else?
That's really it. Tune in next Friday, 10:30. We're doing this again, different topic every week. And next week, we're going to go over some mindset. So make sure to join back in. And that's it.
Okay, hit the button.
See y'all later.